Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part 6 of Print Culture and the Modern World. As we have already studied about the reading public and hearing public, and we talked about the oral transmission of ideas because of print, the topics that we'll discuss today are under the print revolution and its impact, religious debates and the fear of print, implications of print on religion in context to Christianity, and print and dissent. The learning outcomes and the objectives expected today are you would be able to explain the reasons behind the fear of print, tell about Minashi Oh, and analyze the implications of print on religion in context to Christianity. With the spread of ideas, with this ideas coming from the printed text, from the different varieties of books, people got knowledge, people got wisdom, people got different set of viewpoints given by the authors who in fact wrote about the things happening in the contemporary world. So print created the possibility of wide circulation of ideas. People started agreeing and disagreeing with different views presented in different books. Even people started challenging the established authorities and their ideas. The printed message, the books, started persuading people to think differently. Persuading people means convincing people. So people were convinced with a different set of ideas that came out of print. Hence, print encouraged debates and discussions. People started debating and discussing different points and different ideas about almost all the spheres of life. And hence, people even started challenging religious practices. People started debating religious rituals and the superstitions. And in fact, not everyone welcomed print. Print was not welcomed by everyone, although it was a remarkable invention that changed the whole world. But still, there were many who were afraid of print, and they were apprehensive initially about the print technology. They thought that the easier access to the print and the wider circulation of books could have effect on people's mind, which was true, and people would start questioning the religious authorities, and hence they were apprehensive about the new print technology or print. Apprehensive simply means when you are fearful of something bad, and you feel that something is bad, something is not good, and that is related to a perception or understanding that you think it may be correct or may not be, but that is a viewpoint in which you feel something bad about something. So people were apprehensive and everyone did not welcome print. And there was a fear of getting irreligious and rebellious. People started thinking, especially those who were related to the religious authorities, they thought that with the spread of new ideas, people would become irreligious. People would be irreligious, they would not follow religion, and they may be rebellious. Rebellious means when you go against any authority, you would be called as rebel, and the act is called rebellious activity or act or action. So there was a fear of getting irreligious and rebellious, and everyone was worried. And eventually, what has happened? There had been division of church due to 95 theses written by Martin Luther. And this was a great event or great change in the religion Christianity. Martin Luther was a reformer. He wrote against irrelevant practices present in the Roman Catholic Church. He criticized many of the practices and rituals of Roman Catholic Church, and due to these ideas, eventually the church divided and the religion divided into two sects, Catholics and Protestant. Also, another point is print and dissent. Print culture or print gave rise to dissent. Dissent means when you are dissatisfied and you express your dissatisfaction, that is dissent. Dissent has been expressed through print. So, dissatisfaction. And different sort of dissatisfaction started arising against religion because of the circulation of ideas. So, we got it here that religious debates and the fear of print created possibilities of wide circulation of ideas. It encouraged debates and discussion. Everyone did not welcome print, and there had been a fear of getting irreligious and rebellious because of print. Christianity divided into Catholics and Protestant, and the prime reason was the book 95 Theses written by Martin Luther, and print and dissent started. Now look at this picture by J.V. Clay, L. Imprimerie, 1739. You can see the picture here. This is one of the many images produced in early modern Europe celebrating the coming of print. You can see the printing press descending from heaven. So it has been shown that the printing press has been given by God. It has descended, it came from heaven to the earth, carried by a goddess on two sides of the goddess. Blessing the machine are Minerva, the goddess of wisdom, and Mercury, the messenger of God, the messenger god, also symbolizing reason. So it is telling about, the print is telling about wisdom, that is the goddess is Minerva, and Mercury, the messenger god, which symbolizes reason. The women in the foreground and the front that you see are holding plaques with portraits of six pioneer printers of different countries. So you can see the portraits here. You can see the portraits, and these portraits are the portraits of important printers, because they became very important. They became very important printers. And in the middle ground on the left figure encircled the portrait of Gutenberg that you can see here. The portrait of Gutenberg. Do you see here in the middle? Yes, that is the portrait of Gutenberg, who has given the printing machine. Now let's talk about Martin Luther in detail, because it's very important to know about Martin Luther. He was born in Eisleben, Germany in 1483. Martin Luther went on to become one of Western history's most significant figures. Luther spent his early years in relative anonymity as a monk and scholar. Anonymity or anonymous means whom you don't know or people don't know. So he lived a life of monk and scholar in anonymity. But in 1517, Luther penned a document attacking the Catholic Church's corrupt practices of selling indulgences to absolve sin. Like different practices were involved in the Roman Catholic Church to remove sin or bad thing of your life, that somebody has done something bad in life, and to get out of it, to repent, the person would have to do several things, offer several things to the church, and this has been opposed by Martin Luther in his book 95 Theses. So his 95 Theses, which propounded, means gave idea or explained two central beliefs: that the Bible is the central religious authority, and that humans may reach salvation or moksha only by their faith and not by their deeds, was to spark the Protestant Reformation. So that has been told by Martin Luther, and that was the central idea of Martin Luther, which finally was responsible for the Protestant Reformation, means the division of Christianity into Catholics, and the followers of Martin Luther were called as Protestant. Now let's talk about the implications of print in an elaborated manner on religion in context of Christianity. In 1517, the religious reformer Martin Luther wrote 95 Theses criticizing many of the practices and rituals. Rituals are also the religious practices of the Roman Catholic Church. He criticized, he opposed, he wrote against the practices of church in 1517 in his book 95 Theses. A printed copy of this was posted on a church door in Wittenberg. It challenged the church to debate his ideas. So that was posted, and he in fact challenged the church or whomsoever the authorities of church were to debate with him, to debate his ideas. Luther's writings were immediately reproduced in vast numbers and read widely. So the number of books and the texts produced by Martin Luther multiplied like anything, and got reproduced in large numbers. This led to a division within the church and to the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. Reformation means some good change, some correction. So Luther's translation of the New Testament sold 5,000 copies within a few weeks, and a second edition appeared within 3 months. So he gave New Testament, like the Holy Book, Bible, Old Testament, and he gave New Testament that had been sold in great numbers, and 5,000 copies were sold within a few weeks, and the next edition came within 3 months. And he gave, Martin Luther understood the importance of print culture, and he was deeply grateful to print, because without print his ideas could not have been circulated, could not have been spread to several people or a large number of people. So he said, printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. Several scholars, in fact, think that print brought about a new intellectual atmosphere or intellectual movement and helped spread the new ideas that led to the Reformation. So it is often considered, you may get a hot question also, that the Reformation movement was a result of print revolution. Justify the statement, you would need to write the same points. So it was often considered that this Protestant Reformation had been possible only because of the print, and in fact Martin Luther acknowledged, he said or acknowledged it by saying that printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. Now it's very important to understand some important terms here. Although I have explained those terms while explaining, let's have a look here. Protestant Reformation, a 16th century movement to reform, means to correct or change the Catholic Church dominated by Rome. Martin Luther was one of the main Protestant reformers. Several traditions of anti-Catholic Christianity developed out of the movement. So in the Protestant movement or Protestant Reformation, new ideas were circulated, and it was kind of anti-Catholic Christianity, and that is why the new sect came. Another term which is important to understand, that we'll discuss in the next part, you would get this particular keyword, Inquisition. When we say Inquisition, the word Inquisition means a former Roman Catholic code for identifying and punishing heretics. When you do something irreligious, so Inquisition was the practice of Roman Catholic code to identify and punish those who go against religion. It means punishing heretics. So understand heretics now, that is going against religion. Heretical beliefs which do not follow the accepted teaching of the church. So those who go against the church, the practice is called heretics, and the beliefs are called heretical beliefs. So, beliefs which do not follow the accepted teaching of the church. In medieval times, heresy was a threat to the right of the church to decide on what should be believed and what should not. So it was church who used to decide what should be believed and what should not be believed. Heretical beliefs were severely punished, even death sentences, and you would find that as we'll move forward. Now, the next term is satiety. So, this is another keyword which is important. Satiety means the state of being fulfilled much beyond the point of satisfaction. So the root word here is satisfaction, and satiety means if you come across beyond the or you go beyond the state of satisfaction, that is called satiety. The next terminology is seditious. Again, the action, speech, or writing that is seen as opposing the government. When you oppose the government, when you oppose the authority, the act is called as seditious. Now, let's talk about another important character here, Minashi Oh. Minashi Oh was a miller in Italy. He read local books and thereafter started reinterpreting messages of Bible. So the different messages of Bible were reinterpreted by Minashi Oh, and he formulated a view of God that enraged or made people or made a Roman Catholic Church angry. Enraged means becoming angry. So the view of God given by Minashi Oh enraged Roman Catholic Church, and eventually, because of his ideas that were not accepted by Roman Catholic Church, Inquisition, means the trial in the religious court, began to repress, to suppress heretical ideas, the ideas against the religion. Such ideas were suppressed, and therefore he was trialed in the religious court, and finally he was hauled up, means captured twice, and ultimately executed. Executed means killed, death sentence. So that is all about Minashi Oh. Now, as we have already seen, that people started going against the religion. People started challenging the existing norms of religion. And Roman Catholic Church undoubtedly wanted to suppress, to stop such dissent or such expression of dissatisfaction. And due to this, Roman Catholic Church also took several actions. Like you have seen that Minashi Oh was captured and finally executed. So Roman Catholic Church took few steps to suppress dissent. The first one is reinterpretation of religious texts. So all the religious texts now were reinterpreted to make few adjustments and make religious text a bit liberal, and a bit easy. Also, Roman Catholic Church introduced severe control over booksellers and publishers. Put control over the booksellers and publishers who were publishing or selling such books which were against Christianity or the Roman Catholic Church. And in the due course, they maintained index of prohibited books in 1558. So it was an index of prohibited books that was published, in which several books were included, and those books were prohibited. Like we have like the books which are banned. So similarly, a list of books were prepared and books were banned. Now let's talk about the source, and that is fear of the book. Fear of the book here, and you can see the picture here. This picture is of Erasmus. Erasmus is a Latin scholar and a Catholic reformer who criticized the excesses of Catholicism but kept his distance from Luther, expressed a deep anxiety about printing. He wrote in Adages 1508, which is a book, "To what corner of the world do they not fly, these swarms of new books?" So he compared the books or the ideas of the books as swarms who moved from one place to another place. It may be that one here and there contributes something worth knowing, but the very multitude of them is hurtful to scholarship, because it creates a glut, and even in good things, satiety is most harmful. Printers fill the world with books, not just trifling things such as I write, perhaps, but stupid, ignorant, slanderous, scandalous, raving, irreligious, and seditious books, and the number. So he said that the book should spread. The whole world should be filled with books, but the stupid and ignorant or slanderous, scandalous, or irrelevant books should not be popularized. So most importantly, Erasmus is another character that we studied, who also criticized Catholic practices, and he was a Catholic reformer. He kept distance from Martin Luther. It is all about today. So that is all. And based on what we discussed today, these are the assignment questions. You would get these assignment questions in the description as well. Thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.